Hello and welcome. Chris from Missouri here, bringing you another video about vintage baseball cards. And in this video, I'm going to show you some cards, but I'm also going to tell you the story about these cards that I picked up from my local card shop. And I'm going to tell you a story about how it came to be that I was able to pick up these cards. And then I'm also, at the end of the video, I'm going to recap a giveaway that I'm doing, a fundraiser that I'm doing for Mike Moynihan and some kids that are going to Ecuador. But first of all, let me tell you the story. That one day I was talking to a guy about maybe selling his cards at this local card show, and he wasn't going to be there. So what made it difficult is he knew what price he wanted to have on it, but if and it was top. It was the top of the recent sold, and I wanted to have a little bit of flexibility to be able to, somebody wanted to negotiate and stuff like that. I wanted to have a little bit of flexibility. I didn't want anything priced in my cases that maybe were too high, and then I would be known, like maybe at that show, as, ooh, he's not flexible, his prices are too high, and I just didn't want that. So after talking to him about it, I kind of turned him down, and mutually, it wasn't anything bad. And when I hung up the phone, my wife, who was reading a book at the time and listening to our conversation, said, "Well, why don't we buy it? And why don't we buy them?" And I kind of took another look at her, and she's a conservative banker, and she was talking, well, the way you were talking there about what you could get from them and stuff, she was saying, I have nothing in the bank that if we took a few $1,000s, I have nothing in the bank that could give you a return on your money. And she's been, she's known that I've collected cards for a long time, and cards have been pretty important to us, but we don't, like I say, when I sell cards, I take that money and buy a card that I don't have. But she also knows there's value in cards. For instance, I bought her engagement ring on 15 George Brett rookie cards, and maybe we've taken a trip or something because I've sold a card here or there. But at the time that she gave me like permission to buy the cards, well, I called the guy back, and he didn't want to sell the cards for what I wanted to buy, but I've been on the hunt to find something that my wife and I can invest in. And I know some of you guys, that you don't like that term, but I wanted to pick up a card or cards that I could say, okay, these are not just mine, they're mine and my wife's. And then maybe in a year or two, I wouldn't have so much attachment to it that I could turn around and sell it. So I told this story to my local card shop owner, and he's been on the lookout for me, and for something that maybe fits in that category that would be kind of fun to have in the collection for a while, but I could sell it at some time and it not just hurt me down deep in my soul and that kind of stuff. And he partners up every once in a while with a collector, a vintage collector that's a friend of mine also. But a lot of times they go to shows together, and they buy cards together. They send cards off to get together. And my buddy Jeremy is a vintage collector, and he has a super good vintage collection. And he hasn't been collecting like a long time, but his collection has evolved in something just very cool and very nice and very impressive. And he and I talk a lot because we're a couple of the only vintage guys maybe that are the regulars with Chase. There's some others, but not totally vintage like Jeremy and I are. And so Chase is the owner of the card shop, and he and Jeremy went out and bought a 1954 complete set of Red Heart baseball cards. And they sent it off to PSA to get graded. And when he got back, I believe Chase just, the owner of the shop said, I think I could sell this to Chris because I think that this is something that he's really looking for that kind of meets that need that I'd talked to him about. And so he and Jeremy agreed on a price to sell it to me for, and it was a good deal for both. I think they made pretty good money on it. The grades came back good. They, it just I don't know, it's working out for us all. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to turn the phone around and show you the cards. And it's the 54 Bowman Red Heart set. And the 54 Bowman Red Heart set was you could send in stuff that was out of a dog food company, and you could send in these labels and get these Red Heart cards. And there's 33 cards, and they were put in a set, or they were in a series, 11 cards in a series, 3 different series. And there's a blue series and a green series and a red series. Now, the red series are the last series, and they're the not rarest, because they're not rare. Some of these cards you were able to get almost in 1970 still out of 1954. But the blue series had the mantle in it, and it's probably the flagship card of the whole set, along with the Stan Musial. Now, Stan Musial's the cool card. It's a great card, but he didn't have a Topps card or a Bowman card in 1954, but he has a Red Hearts card. And Mantle did not have a Topps card. He only had a Bowman card. So this Red Heart Musial and Mantle are pretty cool cards to have. And it also has 12 player Hall of Famer cards from this set, along with stars and a couple manager Hall of Famers. And so without further ado, I'm going to stand up, try not to move the camera around too fast, turn the phone around in my room too. So first of all, you can see the Hall of Famer Richie Ashburn. You got Gus Bell and Nellie Fox. That Alvin Dark that's just beautiful there. And shout out to the Drew Vintage Cards. There's his buddy Carl Erskine. Ferris Fane was a great pitcher. Nellie Fox. Jim Gillum. Let's go over this way. George Kell, Hall of Famer. Ralph Kiner. Ted Kluszewski. Bob Lemon, another Hall of Famer. There's the Mickey Mantle. That's a beautiful card, a little off center, but look at that blue on there. Billy Martin. Gil McDougall. Minnie Minosa. Look at this Stan Musial. And a PSA 5. I love the diamond at the bottom with their names on them and the name of the team that they played on. And on the back of these, you will see their stats. Let's turn over Warren Spahn here. There's Duke Snider. Let's turn over Warren Spahn. That's what the back looks like. It's got their 53 season stats along with a Red Heart advertisement. The last 3 cards of the set. The last card, I got them backwards here, but Gus Zernial is the last card in the set. So I appreciate my local card shop owner and my friend Jeremy for looking out for me and selling me these cards. Now, to change gears a little bit, I want to remind you guys that I'm doing a fundraiser to try to raise money to send some people to on a mission trip and to Ecuador. And what I'd like you to do, you could win a chance for this Satchel Paige and Mike Trout. What I'd like you to do is make a check and make it out to 1024. And in the memo, put Moynihan's, Ecuador, and then mail that to Chris from Missouri, P.O. Box 245, Glasgow, Missouri, 65254. Now, these mission trips aren't cheap, and it's great. You know, I say this, I would not be doing these videos had it not been for my friendship with Mike Moynihan. And so I'm celebrating 600 subscribers. So what I want to do is, instead of having a video response or something like that, just try to raise some money to send these kids and send this group to Ecuador. And again, the 54 Red Heart set is beautiful, and I love it. And so everybody remember, it's only a hobby. Collect what you like.